Yo, it's time for the golden edition of this Frieza Optimal Combos guide, looking at his routes with practical recommendations and tips along the way. A huge shout out to Nolbiee once again for the help and creation of this video, and check out other Frieza ghosts like Xiao for more combo possibilities. Before we get started, how does Golden work? For 3 bars, 214H plus S turns Frieza into his golden form, an install that auto guards and recovers instantly, buffs your damage by 20%, gives you a second air dash with increased movement speed and access to full reverse beat, which is what completely changes his combo routes, so being able to link them however you want. This transformation lasts around 21 seconds and won't deactivate until he returns to neutral ground stance. This timer responds in sparking and resets whenever he's stacked out or an enemy character dies. The same input will deactivate Golden, and when Frieza is down, you can press S for Sorbet to fire, costing a bar but dealing damage and extending combos. You can only turn Golden once per match, by the way, keep that in mind. Now it's time for his combos. First off, as explained, you can turn Golden mid combos whenever you want, and it doesn't really affect the following scaling or hit stun or anything, but does use up 3 bars. Although you're able to build meter back almost instantaneously. You can actually add more things before turning Golden, like 5H or slash into loops, since it holds them still for more damage. Sample combos will be shown after the loops. Golden Frieza has a basic universal loop with 2 enders of it that varies mid-screen and corner. After 2M 5M, do jump JM, 2 hits, JH, JLL, land, dash jump, repeat, which can all be mashed, just timing the dash jump part. See how I time the dash jump even before landing 2 to buffer it? That way it comes out right away. You don't need to dash jump on some characters, but it does make it more consistent universally, more meter, and corner carry, although harder. But I think y'all know how to do this loop already, it's been around since day 1. So mid-screen Unscaled can get 3 loops with damage depending on the ender, where you can end in 2 ways. This 5H into follow-ups with his orb that deals 6.6k and 2 bars before supers. Delaying the last 5L in the loop before 5H makes it more consistent. And this auto combo extension is cooler but does a bit less damage. You can fit in 4 loops, but getting the 5H ender at the end doesn't seem doable, so assist could get involved to finish this combo. Scaled is similar, just the ender being shortened to deal 5k before supers depending on your starter. Cause a conversion of 2L, for example, deals a lot less at 4.2k, and don't forget to practice on both sides. Keep those hands fresh and neat to execute in-game, baby. These routes are the most general and applicable off any hit, but when you're closer to the corner, you get a better ender using an IAD. On the last loop, do JM 2 hits, 9-6, so an air dash, into LH, delay JM 1 hit, 2M 1 hit, into 5S 5 times, 5M, 5H, a slight delay on the disc, into 5H right away, 2M 1 hit, cancel it with 2L, wait for a bit, jump DR for 7.2k damage, and 2.6 bars. This ID part is rough to get used to, as the dash needs to be super tight and delay the JM a bit after JH to be closer to the ground. Scaled follows the same concept for around 5.8k and 2.7 bars, although you can cut these short to make it easier on yourself as well. Now while it's harder, this route is the most consistent one for knockdowns with almost full corner carry, while almost always being a universal optimal combo. You can deactivate Golden even after the JDR here, so let's quickly go over Sorbet stuff. If it's an air DR, you can Sorbet them while in knockdown and land an additional hit like disc into super. If you end with a grounded DR or any button into Sorbet, you can't usually do much and have to go straight into super right away. If you end with a smash J2H on a shortened combo, you can still DR into supers after Sorbet. This can also help you get into his more damaging level 3, since Frieza is going to be laying on the ground. Sorbet timings can vary, and you can hold forward tech to be closer. Now it's not as effective mid-screen, you can still go into some specials and supers right away, but not Dragon Rush, so it's mostly used for specific combos. Now you don't need side switches due to all the corner carry, but it can be a bit more optimal if you have your back to the corner and recognize it by doing 2M 5LL into any version of the loops. A scaled 2L version can look like this for 5.1k. I found the height to be lower, making the IAD part easier. Now before we get more advanced, here are optimal ways to turn Golden mid combo. You can start with the mediums and to slash into Golden, which holds them still for 2M to land if timed right. Or even if you land a raw 5H from a frame trap or something, turn Golden, you can slightly delay the dash, which both leads to very high damaging combos with the right resources. Now I usually have practical recommendations in these type of guides, but even though these basic loops are easy, you could just do one and continue regularly to be more practical if you're having trouble with this as well. But it's definitely worth learning. This IED part can be looped in itself mid-screen too, but the IED is tighter and uses more hit stun, which is why it's almost always more optimal to do 2 basic loops with the air dash one at the end to finish it. Now we can get into his newer advanced loop using slash. You have to do 236L into dash super jump, JM 2 hits, IAD, JLH delay, JM 1 hit, land 2M 1 hit into another slash again. Similar as the IAD loop from earlier, but since you're higher the delays are going to be a lot longer. In the corner you can just super jump up. I found the first loop to be easy, but the follow-ups is where it really gets tricky. You don't have to dash super jump, you can just super jump, which is easier when you hold S and up during the slash, but adding the dash makes it universal, more consistent, etc. Although tighter timing. And it's even easier on the first rep if you do the M auto combo, since the slash brings them at a better angle, and then that way you can go into however you want. Trying to repeat this loop is a lot harder than the other ones though, which is why it's advanced. Optimally Unscaled, you can start with one advanced loop into one of his basic one after one hit of 2 and 5M, and then the IED ender to give you 7.8k, so that's his best when close to the corner. But the timing with 2 and 5M I found to be hella tricky, so be careful. And this is pretty sick because they're transitioning between 3 of his different loops to optimize Frieza. Scaled, you can only get 2 loops in, that leads to a bit more damage than the basic loops, but again it is much harder. It follows the same combo patterns and routes in the corner as well, although don't use his medium auto combo there because it pops him out of the corner. And you can just switch the loops over however you want within your limited hit stun and play around with that. These loops deal more damage than the previous one, but isn't as consistent and universal with the timings changing on different characters, and I'm sure there might be exceptions to this combo too. For being harder, it may not always be worth it, but it's cool to learn because combining them lead to his hardest, most optimal route. Thank you KJ Pixel 14 for this back to the corner route with his IED loops mid-screen and a different ender. It's pretty damn hard with the timings. My Golden Frieza is not at this level, bro. Max damage mid-screen and corner can look like this for 8.5k, following a similar route as before. This clip was found from Night Shifter's Optimal Combos video, huge shout out to him, and Nolbiee for his inspiration in this route. He's the MVP of this video, y'all, I'm trying to tell you. Now because of his staircase abilities, you can go into loops from Super Dash with a JLL IED loop, or even other ways with IED JMHLL. Now this requires some character expertise, awareness, and mastery since the timings and delays change depending on the height you land these at and your circumstances. So this can also apply with air-to-air confirms, but again, can be hard to execute and really needs you to be locked in with your Frieza. And there are a lot of other creative and unique ways as well to confirm these into loops. Speaking of confirms, here are other ones on the ground. You can confirm Ki Blast with 5M into loops, a cool but easy confirm. Same thing applies with 5H if you land it as a frame trap or something. Just make sure to delay the 5M a little bit so they get the wall bounce. And you can get into loops from Vanish route if you ever land a slash or anything like that. Including after 2-2S with a delayed 5M at the right spacing. Or a dash under 2M, which is useful if they're in the corner. Some of these confirms can be combined together, like 236S, 5S, 2S, Super Dash into loops, you know, get creative with it. Now let's cover 2Hs and DRs. In the corner, you get this simple universal route by going back to JL after JS into a jump cancel and continuing that way. Here's what you can get with a DR out of this. Remember, Dragon Rush does give you more meter for a bit less damage. Mid-screen, you can try to do this with J2S, but it doesn't work on small, so you'd have to stick to your normal route unless you have a big character. In Spark, however, there are his double air dashes that can be put to use with a JS into air dash to extend it twice, almost 6k and 3 bars on 2H, and DR leading to almost 5k with a bit over 4 bars. Mid-screen, you can air dash after one single JS too, although it's a tighter link for a bit less out of it. He does have some pretty sick extensions that go into loops that's covered in the whole Xiao video, the combo goat, requiring a lot of different delay timings and combo patterns, and although not universal, he shows a bunch of different routes on different sizes, but be warned, this video is for the advanced fellas. What I will go over is some TODs that also include some spark stuff. So any of his loops can TOD, and here's a simple corner to M1 starting with 2.5 bars. It's just his basic loops cut a bit short into deactivate and sorbet, and remember you can only turn golden once per match. Then you go into supers and DHC with 2 assists. Here's a more optimal version that leaves you meter positive by Nolbiee but harder. It uses his slash loop to start it off, ending with the same IAD ender as usual. Then you go into sorbet and you actually don't need a super to kill, which is why it's meter positive. Here's a mid-screen one using his advanced loops twice for 0 bars, and it has a similar ender as the previous combo, except this time you go into sorbet into super. But 2 slash loops, good luck with that, although it do be stylish. Don't forget that slash after sorbet, you do need that to kill. Here's a pre-golden version starting with 5M, and you do need 3 bars to start to go golden by High Cut. It's just his basic loops into the IAD ender with a little bit extra at the end to finish it off by deactivating golden into sorbet, DRing on the way down, and then supering up. Here's a solo mid-screen 2H 1 bar TOD by Namel3827. This one using his IAD loops mid-screen, but it does have a pretty specific corner ender, and you could make this a bit more optimal for less bars, but we got the level 4s now. Solo you can even TOD off a light in the corner without spark, but the ender here has a very strict timing with everything being done as fast as possible. Now this is just for real showing you how to really meter dump if you have all that bars with sorbet until you're level 4. Now if you look around you'll see a bunch of crazy Frieza TODs, like even off 5L. This one is from Nolbiee, showing off the IAD loops mid-screen again. 2 reps of those. Into a more creative ender at the end with the Vanish and everything, and bro, I'm so used to the 2M thing that if you show me a different way to end it, I'm like freezing up, bro. Even off 236H pre-golden, by the way, off a slash, and then you spark up, and this combo is so sick. The sparking staircase down. Even the JS link thing, oh my days. You do need 1 assist though, but it does use up some resources and your spark and your golden, so keep that in mind. But this was definitely the craziest combo out of all of these TODs right here. This one was done by Perfect Sam 94, so thank you for that. And that concludes the video. Thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all learned something new and enjoyed the video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.